So, what did the Japanese fighter pilots over Malaya do?
Hunt buffalo together.
Welcome to Max's Models. I'm Max. Hey, Glue Troopers. So, pretty much finished up the Buffalo today. I had to finish getting the decals on them and let them set. Then paint up the antennas and everything, which, by the way, I broke both antennas on the tail and the one up on the cowling, so I had to fabricate new ones. And the when I got the canopy, the tape removed, it actually came out very nicely. Even though they're not 100% even, they look good, especially from just a little bit of distance. So I decided to get some insurance photographs on the airplane. Found out I had painted the wrong gear doors despite all the precautions. One had to be black and one had to be white. But I still managed to get them backwards. But that aside, I thought the scalloped ends on the bottom went forward. They went rearward. But the model just came out great. I really don't have enough superlatives for this kit. Tamyoa knocked this one out of the park. I decided to weather the airplane a little bit, but first, I said when I took these photos, I wasn't actually done with it, and I was like, let me just get some security photos the way I've been breaking things lately in case something stupid happens. So ran over, took some real quick photographs of it, and I decided to go ahead and put the 100-pound bombs on it. The Buffalo in Malaya did get used for everything, and they would go out and attack the Japanese airfields or whatever they could find because, they were so outnumbered. Now, remember, this version of the Buffalo was before it was weighted down with all the armor and self-sealing tanks. This is the export variant, and it performed better, but against the Nates, it had a fighting chance. It actually held its own. It shot down a fair number of, I think, the Lily medium bombers also. But all these airplanes were becoming second tier. In fact, they already were second tier aircraft. This was kind of a backwater operation for everybody. Eventually, when more capable airplanes started showing, the Nates held their own against them, but when more capable airplanes like the Key 43 Oscar showed up, and I think some Zeros also showed up, it was a done deal at that point. And but the little barrel-shaped airplane, held its own, and as well as it could. Also, the British and the Dutch were running out of spare parts. It was not a good situation from any military standpoint. And the one of the things I really liked about this kit was the way the propeller went together. It made it very easy to put a nice spinny prop on it, and then and yes, there are white fins on the bomb. That's what the instruction sheet called for. This is one of those times when I'm like, oh, okay, I've got it pretty much ready to photograph. I've got the antenna wire on it and everything. Let me take some photos. I kept about 3 times. I thought it was done, went to take pictures, and found something that I missed. The very last thing to go on the airplane was the exhaust pipes because I didn't build it in order off of the instruction sheet because I had a lot of stuff pre-painted and everything. And the instruction sheet's great for just building the airplane, but when you paint it, you've got to move things around it, put the propeller on until everything was done being painted. And I think I pretty closely followed the color pattern. First time I painted it, the brown was just a little too dark, and I was like, nah, it's got to be more of a tan, so I added a little white to it and then just reshot all the brown over again. And I gave the decals minus the registration numbers overnight for the Solva set to do their job because you put decals on top of decals. The RDD goes over the stripe, which by the way, it's a 3-piece stripe, made it a lot easier to get it on straight. And then once that's hard in place, then the registration number goes on top of the RDD, the number on the side. So that was important to let those decals, of course, hard in place. And I'm very happy with the way this turned out. I know where the mistakes are at, and it's not 100%, but there's no real blemishes on here that have got me bothered. And I'd be honest, in fact, I decided this one's actually going to go in the house. So it's on display in the cabinet, which is, the biggest badge of honor that I can give a model. And of the airplanes that I have, that or the Vindicator would probably be the only two I'd dare ever put on a table because they just, even up close, it's not embarrassing. It's not perfect, but There was one last thing. I had all the parts on it. Went and took some photographs. Said, okay, now I'm done. And I was like, forgot to put the yellow tips on the props. So they have decals for that, but I've never had good luck with propeller tip decals, so I just went ahead and painted it. And I used some of the pastels. You know, it's the leading edge of the wings and the props and everything are all, have that silver dust on them to give it that. And so does areas of paint all over the airplane to give it that worn look. I didn't want to overdo it like I did with the Corsair. In fact, I may take some of that silver and put it on the Corsair because a couple of spots where I put the faded paint don't really match. But if you get bare metal showing from underneath, that matches. So just very, very, very happy. I've got a lot of different photos here, some with a flash, some without. You never know what's going to turn out. And I remembered to paint the nav lights on this one. So I think I got everything this time. And I'm planning to build the other one right behind it in Dutch markings, which are somewhat similar. And I'll get started on that probably fairly soon. There are differences in the American, the Dutch and British, everything's the same. The American ones have some differences. So if you make it American, you got to watch the instruction sheets. But like I say, I put it in the cabinet on the shelf, and it goes perfectly with my early war airplanes. And then the very next thing was to drag out the IndyCar, the Domino's, the hot one, because I'm doing that for our IndyCar Formula One build. And I was warned by Steve that the forward upper suspension is molded onto the frame, so make sure to paint this part before you put the model together. So I went ahead, removed a couple of body parts from the sprues, and I'll probably pre-paint those before I do anything. All right, that's where we're at for right now. Guys, you take care of yourselves. We'll talk to you later, and as always, model on.
We hunt buffalo, get drunk together.
I like this old chief.
Hallelujah! Hallelujah!